Hello, universe. Welcome to the most spectacular wrestling podcast you will find on the internet. You are listening to Tag Me In, bro. I'm Joe Tantillo, and as always, I'm seated next to my terrific co-host, Taryn O'Connor. Say hi to the people, Taryn.
Hi to the people, Taryn.
If you're new to the show, the format is simple. Each week, we discuss all the magnificent moments, turbulent times, and stunning surprises that professional wrestling has to offer.
So turn your radio up and your opinions down, because we've got some hot tags coming up NXT, which means next.
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
What's up, universe? Joe Tantillo here. I am coming to you live from Buffalo, New York, and I am seated next to my bro from real life, my bro from the same mo, John Tantillo at BFLO Codebreaker on Twitter. Say hi to the people, John.
What is up?
That was weird, man. That's what you do to brothers. You make them look stupid on your podcast. Nah, just kidding. We love each other, except for today, because we are in fierce competition. Actually, we are going to be in competition with the rival faction, Team Less Little Less Big, who is the Taryn and Tommy faction, captained by Taryn O'Connor, my co-host on this lovely show. That's right, this is the prediction show for the Greatest Royal Rumble, and if you listened earlier in the week to my episode and to Taryn's episode, you know that we have a new format for predictions where it's going to be a face-off between two teams and a face-off between our teams and the fans, and I'm going to explain more about exactly how it's going to work, what the point system is going to be, and what our actual predictions are, and what you, the fans, selected for your predictions by voting in our polls. That will all be in the main event. But folks, you don't want to miss out on 1 second of Tag Me In Bro content. So go on Twitter right now and follow us at Tag Me In Bro. Now I hope you're excited because it is about to go down in a big way. Today, tomorrow, and every day, we are talking wrestling. Today's show is special. We don't have any segments, just a main event. So, without further ado, now it's time for the main event. Welcome to the Tag Me In Bro main event, the Greatest Royal Rumble prediction series. It is Team Less Little Less Big, captained by Taryn O'Connor, featuring guest star Tommy Rowe, versus Los Ingobernables de Tantillo, which is captained by myself, Joe Tantillo, and assisted by my brother, John Tantillo. So, bear with me here for a moment. These are going to be the rules for how the predictions are going to work, and I just want to clarify because there's a couple different things going on here, and I want to make sure it's as clear as possible to the listeners. So there are two separate competitions happening here. It's Los Ingobernables de Tantillo, our team, versus Team Less Little Less Big, Taryn's team. Each person on the team makes selections. You get 1 point for correctly choosing the winner of a singles match or a standard tag team match. You get 2 points for choosing the winner in a triple threat or greater. And you get 5 points for choosing the winner of a Battle Royal or Royal Rumble type match. Obviously, in this case, it's a Royal Rumble. You also get 10 bonus points for predicting a heel or face turn, limit 1 per pay-per-view per individual selecting. So, for example, Taryn and Tommy can each separately predict a face turn, but they cannot predict more than 1. So you add your points together, and that is the team score, and the winning team wins the Tag Me In Bro Tag Team Championships. Now, you're probably wondering how you, the fans, are involved. Well, you guys voted on Twitter, so you have all of your selections based on the majority vote for each match. Now, to go versus our team and Taryn's team, only Taryn and I's picks will count and be used to calculate the scores because we are the team captains, so we will represent the teams based on our selections. So it's the same scoring system as above: 1 point for a singles match, 2 points for a triple threat, fatal four-way, fatal five-way, etc. 5 points for a Royal Rumble correct choice, minus the bonus points, so disregard any face turns, heel turns, anything like that, because we can't calculate that in because it's way too difficult. And the winning score based on the most points will win the Tag Me In Bro Universal Heavyweight Championship. We are super excited about this. We might even get a real physical belt and trade it back and forth between our homes, and if the fans win, we'll just put it on the street or something in a glass case locked up so nobody can actually get to it. So, without further ado, here are the selections for our team, Los Ingobernables de Tantillo. we will go through the match card. I'll say my choice first, and John will say his choice. And, of course, there's always friendly rivalry within the teams, but there's no prize for winning that other than bragging rights. So, I hope I beat John. He hope he beats me. He's not going to beat me. These things happen. Last time we tied, though, so there's a very good chance he might beat me. Anyway, let us begin with the Cruiserweight Championship match. You have Cedric Alexander, the champion, versus Kalisto, the challenger. John, who do you have winning this one?
Well, I think this one's pretty simple. I am going to go ahead and say Cedric Alexander is going to successfully defend his Cruiserweight title. I think they've got a lot in store for him. He's going to have a nice, long title run, and they need someone that he can dispatch of easily right ahead. So Kalisto's going down. Cedric's going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Cedric on this one as well. I agree with you exactly. I think they need a feud for him to win easily, but it'll be a terrific match. Kalisto will look strong. Cedric will come out on top, retain the championship. That one, I think, is straightforward. Moving forward, the Raw Tag Team Championship, The Bar versus Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, the Deleter of Worlds. I have the Deleter of Worlds on this one. I have a sneaking suspicion that because The Bar are now on SmackDown Live, they are definitely not going to win this match. I think the Deleter of Worlds have more momentum anyway, and even if The Bar had not been traded, I would have been picking Deleter of Worlds, but I think they're the safe bet on this one. I am not anticipating a swerve here, though I've certainly been wrong before. John, what do you think?
I also think that Deleter of Worlds will win this match. Once again, I can't imagine that the Bar will be moved off of SmackDown after getting there so quickly. I think there's much more opportunity for them on SmackDown, much more interesting feuds, maybe a feud with the Usos in the near future. So I think Deleter of Worlds will be the new Raw Tag Team Championships.
Up next is the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. We have the Bludgeon Brothers, the champions, versus the Usos. I am going to say here that the Bludgeon Brothers retain, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little on the fence about this one. I have this weird sneaking suspicion that the Usos might pull this victory out, but I'm not quite convinced enough, so I'm going to say that the Bludgeon Brothers take this one.
I am going to agree with Joe once again, and here is my reasoning. While I do think that the Usos could take this one home, they did get the upper hand on the most recent episode of SmackDown, and that tends to mean that they will not be going over at the big match. So because of that, I have a suspicion that the Bludgeon Brothers are going to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
So, United States Championship here, you got Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal. I believe here that Jeff Hardy is going to retain his championship. I think that because Jinder Mahal went to Raw and Jeff Hardy's now on SmackDown, I don't think those belts are going to change hands. Now, there is a possibility that a SmackDown player could win the Intercontinental title and that a Raw player could win the U.S. title, but I don't think that's going to happen. I do think Jeff Hardy is going to hold on to this U.S. title. John, what do you think?
Once again, I'm going to agree, but I'm going to take the time to note how strange of an episode this is to predict, being so close to the Superstar shakeup that we know either one set of superstars is going to win or the other set of superstars is going to win. So I'm going to believe that the championships are going to stay where they are currently, and that U.S. belt is going to stay around the waist of Jeff Hardy for a good chunk of time.
Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. Who do you have here, John?
I think that The Undertaker is going to win this match, and there are a couple reasons why. One being it is his signature match, obviously, and the other one being that in front of this specific crowd, I don't think they're going to have Undertaker lose. I think he is the bigger star here, especially in front of this crowd, and I think that everybody will love to see him win this.
Yeah, and by this crowd, you mean a more casual Middle Eastern audience, as they tend to be markier.
Yes.
Yeah. Undertaker wins here. That is an easy one, in my opinion. If Rusev wins, that would be the craziest swerve of all time, but I don't think Undertaker's going to lose many matches on this last run of his. So up next is John Cena versus Triple H. This one I'm a little less certain about. I think it could go either way. I'm gonna pick John Cena because he is Superman, and I think that he typically wins in this type of match, and he's been losing a lot lately, so I do think he's gonna win. But that's not necessarily 100% safe bet, and you might differ from me on this one. So
I am actually gonna go ahead and differ from you on this one. I think that.
Woo!
You don't sass me like that.
Don't you fucking talk to me with that accent.
But I do think that Triple H is going to win here. I think particularly because the reason you think that Cena's going to win being his current losing streak. But I think that they're going to keep playing to this. They were playing to it a little bit before WrestleMania, and we all saw how that one turned out. So I think that Triple H is going to go ahead and pick up the win here. And we'll see where Cena goes from there. I think it'll be very interesting moving forward.
That is, I think, the first time we differed tonight, which is good. It's good that we're starting to. Up next, Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. Now, this is a really hard one to predict because there's a part of me that wants to say that The Miz is going to win the title and then continue his streak as Intercontinental Champion. But I'm going to refrain from that. I am going to say Seth Rollins retains. I don't think his run as Intercontinental Champion is over just yet. But Miz could win, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Seth is going to retain. Yeah, especially because I think The Miz is now going to be actually kept away from the IC title for a little bit because I think his main focus over the coming year is going to be this Daniel Bryan feud.
Now, I would love to see every single person in this match win. They're all fantastic, and it's a really hard choice, but I think that I'm going to go ahead and say Finn wins, and I think that we are going to go back to a Finn-Seth feud, and especially since now that the club is gone, it will give Finn something to do on Raw, and I think Seth versus Finn is going to be a great feud. We've seen it before. It's fantastic, and I think that Finn will end up going over in the feud, and I think Seth will move on maybe to the Universal title picture, maybe be back with Dean in that feud if he's back by then, or maybe something with Jason Jordan if he's back, but I think that Finn will take home the Intercontinental Gold.
That's actually pretty good justification. I hadn't even thought about the concept of Seth actually moving forward into the Universal title picture. You might have me on that one, but my boy Seth, he's gonna pull it out. He's gonna curb stomp all those little opponents of his and get that win. Get that win, get that gold, get that money, that gold money. Up next is the WWE Championship match. AJ Styles, the champion, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I am picking Nakamura to win. I am calling it. I really believed he was going to win at WrestleMania. They had the heel turn, which was the big surprise of Mania for everyone. This is it. He is winning. I can feel it in my gut. Heel Nakamura is super over already. I think the AJ feud's going to continue long beyond this, but I'm calling it. He's winning, and he's going to do it with a low blow with a distracted ref. He's going to get that win. John?
Oh, I got to go with Nakamura. They can't have him lose 4 consecutive world title matches, I don't think. I mean, obviously he lost the 2 to Jinder, the last one to AJ, and he's got a fucking dope new heel theme, and he's just so cool and so over, and I want to see him with the world title. I think it's going to be incredible when it happens, and I think it's going to happen soon.
Finally, well, not finally, but finally in terms of the standard matches, we have the Universal Championship Steel Cage match, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I am saying that Roman wins here. He's going to escape the cage and win. We already got swerved once. I don't think it's going to happen again. It might happen again, but honestly, I just don't know what you do with Roman other than turn him heel if he loses here. I don't think they're going to do... In my opinion, the most interesting and exciting thing to do here would actually be have Brock win, surprise everyone, have Roman immediately turn heel and somehow beat him up. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Roman's winning. I think he's going to escape the cage. That's my pick. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I gotta go with the obvious choice. I think Roman's gonna escape the cage. I mean, it's not necessarily what I want to see out of this match. I would love to see Roman pin Brock to actually win the Universal Championship for the first time, but I do think he's gonna escape the cage. They're gonna protect Brock for the future, for some of those $500,000 matches that he's got coming up in his future. So yeah, Roman's gonna escape the cage.
All right, now we get to the big one. The greatest Royal Rumble match. Now, there are a lot of announced names for this. You got Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle, Great Khali, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, and many, many more. There are a ton of choices to pick from. And as we said before, if you pick this one right, you get 5 points for your team. John, who are you picking, and what is your reasoning?
This might be the hardest match that a person could ever predict, but I'm going to go with, well, if you can even call it a safe bet in a match like this, but I'm going to go with the safe bet, per se, with John Cena. I think that he is the biggest name that the company has right now, and I think giving him a win here would just be the smart thing to do, especially regarding the casual crowd and the reaction that it would get. People love Cena. I love Cena. I would love to see him win. I would cheer. But yeah.
You know, I think that's not a bad pick, considering you think he's going to actually lose to Triple H earlier in the night. Now, I'm going to go with another, perhaps you could call it a safe or obvious choice, but the choice to me that I would do if I were in charge of the company. My pick to win is Daniel Bryan. Now, Daniel Bryan obviously is returned from injury, massively over immediately. The Royal Rumble is one of those things that he has just never won. And I should add in here that the other person I considered picking was Chris Jericho, because he's never won one. But I think that they're going to use the greatest Royal Rumble match winner. I think they're going to put them into some sort of storyline or something. Or even if it's just a big accolade, I think the person that most logically it makes sense to have win is Daniel Bryan. I think he gets that win. You don't have to give him a guaranteed title shot or anything, so you get the pop of him actually winning one. You can put it on his resume, just continue to add to his already stacked resume. Fans will go crazy. I really think it's going to be a babyface because of the type of casual fan that will be there in the crowd. And I just think that because he's coming off of this injury and because they've had so many fiascos with Royal Rumbles where people wanted him to win and he didn't, I think that they've learned their lesson. They'll pick him to be the winner, and he'll probably throw a really dastardly heel over the top rope to get the victory. So that's it. That's my pick. That's all of our picks. So now you've heard the picks for once again our team, Los Ingobernables de Tantillo, which for those of you who don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, that is a combination of our last name Tantillo and the Los Ingobernables de Japón faction. And if you have never seen any of their matches, you should absolutely go watch some Naito stuff, some Sonata stuff, some Evil matches. They're great. They're terrific. Anyway, coming up next in this same hour, we will deliver you the fans' choices. We will also deliver to you, well, we won't, but Tommy and Taryn will deliver to you their predictions. So that's coming up next. Take a break, use the restroom, get some snacks, and then tune right back in for the rest of the predictions.
Hi, this is Tony, the host of the Flix X-Raid podcast. Each week, I am joined by guests.
Ew.
Hello.
Yo.
Why, hello there.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have a roundtable discussion where we dig deep and X-ray a bunch of our favorite films, and some really terrible ones too. We really like to go back and take a look at films that may be forgotten, maybe in the past, and still lovable films. If you want, you can follow us on all the major platforms, iTunes, Google, Stitcher.
If you want to find out more, you can find us online at www.flixxraid.com.
And you can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram if you want to reach out to us. Good night, Internet.
It's Rusev Day. It's Rusev Day.
Welcome back, Universe. Joe here to deliver you the fans' choices for the predictions for the Greatest Royal Rumble 2018. Now, these are the official selections as voted by you, the fans, in our High to the People polls put out on Twitter. So, for the Universal title match, the fans have selected Roman Reigns as their prediction to win. For the WWE Championship match, the fans have selected AJ Styles. For the Intercontinental title match, the fans have predicted that Seth Rollins will retain the gold. For the match between John Cena and Triple H, the fans have said John Cena will win. For the casket match between Rusev and The Undertaker, the fans have said that the dead man will reign supreme. For the United States title match, Jeff Hardy is going to defeat Jinder Mahal and maintain his status as United States champion. For the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship, the Bludgeon Brothers have been chosen to defeat the Usos. For the Raw Tag Team Championships, the fans have said that the Deleter of Worlds will delete the bar, and it will be wonderful! For the Greatest Royal Rumble match, the fans have said that the Monster Among Men will give these hands to everyone, and Braun Strowman will win the Greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. And finally, for the Cruiserweight Championship match, Cedric Alexander will defeat Kalisto. Those are your official fan selections for the Greatest Royal Rumble prediction series. Stay tuned on Twitter to see who wins. Will you guys take home the Tag Me In Bro Universal Heavyweight Championship? We'll see if you can beat Taryn and myself.
Hey there, Universe. This is Taryn O'Connor here with Tommy Rowe, your SmackDown Live team.
Sup?
And we are here to give you our predictions for Friday's Greatest Royal Rumble. Right now we are performing as Team Less Little Less Big against Joe and John. And so, may the best team win. Okay, so we're going to start off our predictions with the Cruiserweight Championship match, which is currently set to be Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto. Tommy, who do you got and why?
Cedric Alexander is my pick for this one. Kalisto did moderately well in the Gauntlet match recently, but he's definitely been overshadowed by the other two members of the Lucha House Party, as they are known. It's too early to take the belt off of Cedric. It's not going to be Kalisto. He is a charisma vacuum. He does not carry the title well if he gets it. He's held it before. I don't buy it.
No, I think that is super fair. I'm also going with Cedric. Mostly, I actually think I would have rather seen Drew Gulak in this match after his performance in the Gauntlet match. I honestly think they probably put someone like Kalisto in there because this is like a very casual audience-based pay-per-view, and I feel like more people will know Kalisto's name than might know the names of several other members of the Cruiserweight division.
Definitely.
But I think it's safe to say that it's staying with Cedric.
Big surprise if it goes the other way.
Yeah. Okay. So next we'll move on to Tag Team Championships. First, we'll do the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We've got the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos. Who do you got?
Well, I got the Bludgeon Brothers because Naomi is not allowed to perform in Saudi Arabia, so she can't save the Usos. So
no, I think that is actually very fair. I think the Bludgeon Brothers have to win because if not, what was the point of all of this?
Yeah. I mean, they don't make sense unless they continue to hold the titles. To me,
I agree, and I think that the Usos are strong enough to either keep the feud going as challengers or to move on to a potentially non-title feud and non-title matches. But I think that the Bludgeon Brothers are really, truly pointless if they aren't title holders.
They need
now.
the titles to do anything.
Yeah, I agree. So we both have the Bludgeon Brothers. Oh, right now it's a very...
Oh, boy.
The internal competition is not looking good. Moving to the Raw Tag Team Championships, we have The Bar versus Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Team World Eaters, Team Woken Eaters, Team Late Night Snackers.
Yeah, I like that. Team Late Night Snack. I do have Team Late Night Snack. I think they're really great together in a way that if you asked me, would they be good together? I would say no. And who are you? Like, I wouldn't pair them together, but together they really do work greater than the sum of their parts, in my opinion. I think they've got it. The bar is not going to double flip-flop. They're not going to go to SmackDown to go right back to Raw. That doesn't make sense to me. Unless they're swerving us, which they totally could be. No, not going to happen.
I agree. I also have Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. I love them. I love them together. Yeah. I think it is nothing but gold. I think it is great television.
Would you say it's wonderful?
I would. And I would also say that joke was wonderful.
Thank you
wonderful.
So much.
Thank you all for dealing with me. But yeah, I think that I think the fact that they moved the bar to SmackDown shows inherently they're not going to win.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make any sense, and I think that Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are both so like worthy right now of holding a title, but it truly doesn't make sense to have either of them in singles competition with the current Raw roster.
Yeah.
So again, geez, moving straight through, we are 3 matches in and on completely the same page, which is great, but also terrible for once again the SmackDown
united
competition.
Front.
It means if we win though, we are like 6-0 right now against the other team.
Oh yeah.
Crazy, truly crazy. Moving to mid-card belts, we have the United States Championship. We have Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal. Tommy, who do you got?
I think it's going to be Jinder.
Really?
You never hinder Jinder.
Oh my God.
You got to give him that belt back. I think in both cases the mid-card titles are going to switch shows again. And I do think you need a heel to win something. And I understand that's like weird, but I do think you need a heel to win something, and I think Jinder's the guy to do it. I think the US title going back to Raw, and then obviously I think the Intercontinental Championship also needs to change hands, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I do think it's going to be Jinder.
No, I think that's very interesting. And I think that's a very fair guess. This is our first challenge, our first disagreement. I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy. I just think that it would be a strangely short title reign for Jeff Hardy. I also think it would be a little weird to have the belt go back to Raw. I totally understand what you mean by thinking that both titles are like both mid-card titles are going to switch. And I think that is a very, very fair point. But I think that for me, they didn't need to put the belt on Jeff to bring him to SmackDown.
Yeah.
But if they wanted the belt to be on, say, Randy Orton later down the line, they needed a reason to bring the belt back to SmackDown.
Fair.
And so in my mind, that is why Jeff Hardy is going to retain. So
cool.
That's our first difference.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
we'll
I would only want Jinder Mahal to hold my success on his shoulders, so I'm very happy with it.
So moving on to the other mid-card title, the Intercontinental Championship. We have the ladder match, which is cool. It's our first stipulation. We've got Seth Rollins, the current champion, versus The Miz, versus Finn Balor, versus Samoa Joe. Who do you have?
I have Samoa Joe. I think he's the guy to do it. I think he needs to be shown to be strong immediately. And he's got the most to gain, I think. And if they want to cement him as like a force to be reckoned with and someone to go up against Roman Reigns a few days later at Backlash, I think he's the guy.
I think that's interesting. That would also bring the belt back to SmackDown in like a potentially like untraditional way.
Yeah.
Which would be very, very cool. No, I think Samoa Joe is an excellent threat in that match. I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins retaining. Not for any, if I'm being perfectly honest, like not for any particular reason other than he's one of those wins where I think his win at Mania was kind of a favor for the fact that he had been screwed over so many times in his Mania plans due to several unfortunate and poorly timed injuries. But so I think that he's got it. I don't think Seth is the type of person they would let be a weak champion. And so in the world where you need both titles to switch to be right, I kind of need them both to be the same, and I don't think they're gonna take it off of Seth to give it to Balor.
No, I don't think so.
And so for me, that only leaves one option, and that is Seth Rollins retaining.
Yeah, I think if Samoa Joe gets it, also you just have that opportunity. If Finn Balor, for example, costs it for Seth in some way, that feud can finally like take shape and actually happen. And we've been waiting for that for almost 2 years now.
That is very true. That is very, very true. Interesting. And so with the end of those kind of mid-card titles, that brings us to the kind of 2 exhibition matches that we have. We'll start with Cena versus Triple H. An interesting one. Both WrestleMania losers.
Yeah.
Who do you have and why?
I have Cena, despite the fact that Triple H has, like, in the past shown that he can be a little selfish and, like, he wants to come out of a loss with a win. I think Cena he wasn't damaged by getting squashed by The Undertaker, but he definitely was not helped. Triple H wrestled the longest match of the night and lost, but he was still shown to be strong. John Cena was on the feed too often, being in the crowd, and then he like ruined Charlotte's moment, and then he got a lot of heat for that, and then got totally squashed by a returning 50-something-year-old man who can do like 5 moves. So for that reason, I think Cena needs it, and Cena will win.
Very interesting. I also have John Cena. Mostly, I think Triple H cares too much about the product to demand that win. I think in that situation, Triple H plays the heel. He'll continue to play the heel.
Definitely.
He didn't look bad at Mania the way that I think Cena like truly did not look good at Mania. And I think with this kind of crowd, they're going to be so hungry for John Cena. Like,
Definitely.
I think we're going to get some big match John. I think he's going to show up huge.
Oh, yeah. He's on front of the
gonna...
poster. Like, he is center. He is front and center on the poster. Like, he is the big face of the company as long as they are still waiting to anoint Roman Reigns.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna easily land with Cena. That's my bet at least. So it's both of us. So moving on to big match, and match that changed and went back and forth and back and forth. We have The Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. Who do you have?
Well, I have Chris Jericho on a run-in. No, I have The Undertaker. Yeah, makes sense. Needs to win. Can't lose. He's the 3 people who have in big matches beat Undertaker in his pretty much only Big 4 career at this point have been Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I love Rusev. Not gonna happen. Sorry, pal.
I agree. I think we've got a big ol' Taker win.
Yeah.
I don't think The Undertaker is flying to Saudi Arabia to lose.
Nope.
Especially in a casket match. I think for Rusev, it's the honor of being in a match with The Undertaker.
Bury me softly, brother.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that I will swiftly move forward from that and say congratulations, The Undertaker, on your return and your second victory. Moving on, I'm going to put the Universal Championship ahead of the WWE Championship because the WWE Championship still means more to me.
Yep.
To no one else.
Well, it's also been around for like 6 decades, and the Universal Championship has been around for like a year, so who cares?
You're preaching to the choir, girl, but for me, it's to me. So going on to the Universal Championship, we've got a steel cage match.
Ooh.
And we've got Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, boy.
Who you got?
I got Roman Reigns. Vince wants a big old pop. He's going to get it in a place that doesn't really understand why we all hate Roman Reigns. Which sucks because I was actually I was hot on Roman Reigns for a while.
Yeah.
Leading up to Mania, I wasn't happy that the match was happening, but that would have been the moment, and I would have been totally pleased with that. Yeah, it's going to happen. There's going to be a big old pop. It's going to close the night. People are going to think it's the greatest thing to ever happen. And I am just going to be so pleased that Brock Lesnar will not be on my screen for at least 3 days.
I mean, with Brock Lesnar's new contract, it really feels like they probably can't afford to keep him as the champion for much longer. I also have Roman Reigns. I think that there's a lot of validity to the ideas that they had that were like they didn't want to put the title on him if they had even a fear that he was going to get booed, because I still think he would have even though I'm completely with you. I was ready and I had given in. I had been totally Stockholm syndromed into being excited for him to win at WrestleMania.
Biggest swerve of Mania, though.
Oh, totally. We held on to, a bunch of people, like both of us included, held on to that rumor for a full year.
Yep.
So kind of nuts. But yes, I do think Reigns will finally take the title. I also believe that, again, we're looking at like this kind of cluster F of a pay-per-view that they have.
A cluster F. Oh.
Well, kids listen sometimes.
Oh.
But like of a pay-per-view that we like need to deliver something big for. Like they're calling it the greatest Royal Rumble. And so I think they're gonna want to see a big title change.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think if there is a possibility that we may not see that many title changes, and then it may just be more of a parade of people you want to see.
Yeah.
That this is what a better big moment to have someone that you want to be anointed as a giant babyface, anointed in front of a crowd that never gets to see this change, that's never had it before. I think it could be a really big moment for the brand. So I think they'll put it on Reigns.
Yeah.
And moving on to the last championship match, the WWE Heavyweight Championship, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Who do you got?
So I have been mulling this one over a lot. And while I do think it might kill Shinsuke's momentum a little bit post this, like, what I can only describe as amazing heel turn, I think AJ Styles will retain, but then, like, a week and 2 days later at Backlash, they will fight again and he will lose. I just think it's too many title changes, and I don't think they're going to have a lot of heels win at this show. Like, this is the largest show of its kind outside of the United States maybe ever. Like, they need to have the good guys win, and I don't think that Nakamura winning is going to happen here. I think it totally might happen at Backlash. Maybe he might get himself disqualified during the match to have AJ retain. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's going to happen at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
That is very, very interesting. I thought this was the hardest match to call of the ones where we know something, because obviously with a 50-man Royal Rumble, like you're just like throwing darts at the board and hoping something sticks. But I was very torn. I was super torn because when you look at the new pay-per-view schedule, like they can't really save it for SummerSlam, which would have been my hope. Like my true hope would have been that this got truly saved for SummerSlam. So it was at one of the big four. I would have loved to have seen Shinsuke win at SummerSlam because I think that's a feud that can continue into Survivor Series and that would do so very interestingly. But I don't think that that's what we're going to see. I think we still might see them feuding by the time of SummerSlam. But that's where I really would have liked to see the first belt shift, and I do not think that we will. I think that AJ Styles as a champion is not something that I am sick of at all.
Never will be.
No, never will be. But I do think that at this stage of the game, I am not sure how they build new talent with him still as the champion. And like that hurts me to say more than anything else because I am like maybe one of the world's biggest AJ Styles fans. Like I truly, truly adore him as a performer. And I love when he has the belt. Like I think he is a great champion, heel or face. Shinsuke Nakamura, on the other hand, when I look at it, has this has been such an amazing character, but it's kind of a character I'm happy to watch chase the belt. Like once he has the belt, I'm not sure how many more levels of evil he has in him. And to be fair, maybe that's just because we haven't had the opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
But my initial reaction is that I would love once Shinsuke wins the belt, which I hope he does eventually, I would love for him to go against like a Daniel Bryan. But from the storylines we've been given, it doesn't really look like that's going to happen. It looks like Daniel Bryan's caught up in this The Miz and Big Cass thing. And no, Daniel Bryan's not the only face on SmackDown, but in my mind, he is one of the only justifiable heavyweight champions on SmackDown. So it was a really hard one for me to call, but I do think I'm going to follow suit with you and say I think AJ Styles is going to retain. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure for how long. But I do think we're going to see AJ exit with that belt.
Cool.
And that brings us to the last match, the ultimate, the greatest 50-man Royal Rumble. Tommy, who do you have emerging victorious?
I have the Great Khali.
Oh, please pick a new answer. You're not allowed to choose that.
Really?
No, you're not.
Okay, fine.
No, please.
No, I
This
do
has
not
to
think
be-
the Great Khali is going to win.
That is an undisputed error. You're not allowed.
That was funny.
Thank you.
Let's see. So if I can't choose the Great Khali, I'm gonna pick Daniel Bryan.
Cool.
I do think that, I think he's gonna win. It's sort of like it's a mea culpa on the part of WWE after he didn't come in at number 30 this year, and I forget which year it was that he got thrown out. I think it was 2015 he got thrown out, and this was right before WrestleMania 30. Like, Batista won that year, but they took over Raw. That was the whole Daniel Bryan coming into WrestleMania 30. He didn't win the Royal Rumble despite the fact that he had every ounce of momentum behind him. I think it's his time to win it. The only other possible person I think could be Braun Strowman, but I'm gonna go Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
I think that's a great call. I think Daniel Bryan would also be a great person to have win this. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Braun Strowman's been the internet's favorite.
Yeah.
Which is fair. He would definitely be a worthy winner, and I think we'd be happy to see him involved in storylines with that as his legitimizing factor or component. I think would be really interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go in kind of a different direction. I'm gonna go in a long shot that actually you reminded me of this morning when we were recording the SmackDown speed through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go with Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah.
Because Dean Ambrose has been on the shelf with an injury for what's it been? Probably it's definitely over half a year, probably 7 or 8 months now.
It might have been 8 or 9 years at this point that he's.
It's been a decade since Dean Ambrose wrestled. And to be fair, I have been missing Dean Ambrose a lot on the main roster, which is something I wasn't hugely expecting.
Yeah, I wasn't high on him when he was around, but now I'm like, yo, baby, come back.
Yeah, no, I miss him. And so I think that we could get, a surprise like that, a big ol' return from injury, massive company star, Shield member, maybe popping out at number 50, but coming back from injury to win.
Yeah,
could
that
be
would be crazy.
It could be a really interesting finish to the match.
Yeah, I have no doubt it will be someone I'm choosing Daniel Bryan because he's announced for it, and I don't want to really throw a dart with a blindfold on, but when it comes down to it, there are 23 people announced and there are 27 other people who have not been. So it's statistically speaking gonna be someone who hasn't been announced. I think that's a great call.
Thanks. Yeah, and that kind of concludes. That's the whole match card. No women are competing. R.I.P. I do think that we'll miss them severely.
Yes, we will.
I know that we will. But yeah, so those are Team Less Little Less Big's predictions for the Greatest Royal Rumble. We will be watching on Friday, not necessarily with everyone because we work, so we'll be watching after work. But we have the network, so we're excited and we're stoked to watch it. Joe will be live tweeting it. Please keep up with our scorecard, and you'll see who walks away with the first Tag Me and Bro Championship. Woo! All right.
Woo!
That's been it from Taryn and Tommy. Goodbye, universe.
Goodbye, universe.
Are you hugging kidding me? I don't give a hug. Bailey does not get bumped from a talk show.
Here are our predictions for who will be the stars of the night for the Greatest Royal Rumble 2018 edition.
You just made the list!
Number 3, Seth Rollins. We think that the Architect is going to ball out in the ladder match. Whether or not he wins is up for debate, but we think that he will be the star of that match, and he will be Mr. Ladder Match and Mr. Greatest Royal Rumble. John, any thoughts on that?
This match is going to be a clinic, and I think Rollins is going to be teaching it.
Good, nice. I like that. You're this fucking guy over here. He knows what he's talking about. Moving on, our number 2 predicted star of the night is Daniel Bryan. We think that he's going to put on an absolute spectacle and be probably one of the bigger pops of the night in the Royal Rumble, and will be super entertaining, and we will look upon his glorious beard in awe.
I absolutely love Daniel Bryan. There is no world where I do not freak out when his music hits.
And finally, our number one predicted star for the Greatest Royal Rumble is Shinsuke Nakamura. He's gonna win that damn belt, and even if he doesn't, his new heel theme with rap in it is gonna make me pop because it's hype. It's fucking hype. It is so good. There are three types of people in this world. People that like Shinsuke's Nakamura song, people that love the new theme song, and people that don't understand the new theme song. And that is it. And that is stolen directly from some guy on Twitter that was like a meme, and I don't remember who it was, otherwise I credit him. But good job, meme guy. John?
Oh, he's just so cool. He's so cool, and I love him, and he's cool. He's cool!
I want to be Shinsuke Nakamura when I grow up, but just the heel version, punching people in the wiener. It's so stupid, but it's so great. It's so stupid, but it's so great! Anyway, Shinsuke Nakamura, you are our predicted number one star. Do you deserve it? That's the question. Yeah, we'll find out. Well, that will do it for us here at Tag Me In Bro. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at TagMeInBro and on Instagram, Wrestling Fashion. And subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or YouTube. As always, we're eager to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, answers, so please let us know what you liked, what you hated, what you could give a fuck about. For my co-hosts today, Taryn O'Connor, Tommy Rowe, and John Tantillo, I have been Joe Tantillo. Thanks for listening to Tag Me In Bro, and we will see you on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Goodbye, universe. Goodbye, universe. Hey Universe, Joe here. Did you enjoy that episode of Tag Me In Bro? Well, if you did, please go on iTunes and give us a 5-star review. We would really appreciate it, and iTunes gives preferential treatment to those who have 5-star reviews on average. Plus, if you really loved it, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Tag Me In Bro, and turn those notifications on so you get all the content like this, and our polls, debates, and questions of the week. We love talking to you guys, the fans. It makes it a lot more fun for us. So until next time, keep it real.